Abandoned calves capture engineer Richard Basel, 40, a Swiss mechanical engineer, felt his spiritual life was at a standstill and decided to do something about it. He struggled with his boss and got permission to take a 10-week leave of absence to serve and study in Vrindavan, the land of Krishna. He arranged by email for several teachers there to tutor him in philosophy and Mridanga, and he was off. His daily classes and Mridanga practice took up only about 5 hours a day, so he decided to give GoSeva a try. He bought a used bicycle and began going to care for cows from 5 o'clock to 7:30 a.m. every morning, where he enrolled in GoSeva 101, feeding and grooming. Detecting his good potential to become a Gosevak, the cows offered Richard so much encouragement that he decided to take the course in tick removal, GoSeva 102, taught from 4:30 to 6 p.m. in the evening. Tight schedule. After Richard had completed the beginning courses, we got 2 emergency calls, the first reporting a calf lying immobile on the side of the road, the other reporting a young bull hobbling with a maggot-infested hoof. Both were admitted to the infirmary. The calf had apparently been struck by a car and was almost fully paralyzed. Still in that condition, she taught Richard how to feed milk to a convalescent calf and retard the development of bed sores by rotating the body on alternate sides. From the young bull, Richard learned how to remove maggots deeply buried in the flesh without gagging. Then came the heaviest monsoon in 100 years to teach Richard how to navigate flooded potholed roads at dawn with wet glasses. He even took a spill and suffered a nasty bump on his face. Nevertheless, he made sure the cows were fed on time, kept clean, and soon it was apparent to all that they had won his heart. Next came his biggest test, an abandoned 3-year-old 450-kilo bull, while lying innocently on the side of the road, was struck by his worst enemy, a reckless tractor. With his spine severed and several wounds on his hindquarter, he was loaded on an ox cart and in the dead of night dumped at the Care for Cows gate. It took 6 of us to move him to the infirmary. He was not an easy patient. Understanding Richard's expertise in mechanical engineering, the bull inspired him to modify and improve our hoist so we could more effectively attend to his wounds. He accepted Richard's service for 3 weeks and during his last days inspired him to make the infirmary fly-proof to retard maggot infestation. One day, while grooming the cows, Richard mentioned that Swiss dairies have discovered that cows like to hear pleasing music and that increased milk production is one of the effects. The cows persuaded Richard to install a sound system in the cowshed and remember him fondly while hearing bhajans and flute/tabla in morning ragas. 10 weeks passed quickly and Richard's former life beckoned him. Reluctantly he returned, but much wiser and inspired. He writes, "The atmosphere in the cowshed is sattvic, and while NWSLETTER November 2003 serving there, I got many realizations about the modes of nature, which was the subject on one of my classes. Just by brushing a cow. It is said, that if you brush a cow under the neck it softens your heart. It's very touching when the calves rest their heads on your lap and their big eyes ask you to brush them. You can't resist, and now I understand why Krishna likes the cows even more than the Brahmanas." Richard captured by Nitai and Tulsi, the more you put yourself into serving the cows, the more comes back to you. From the cows and from Krishna. You can really feel it. And his words are not empty. Richard is now establishing a trust in Switzerland for raising funds to get the more than 300 abandoned cows off the streets of Vrindavana. Rupa Raghunatha, chief executive of Vrindavan Food for Life, has founded the Sandipani Muni School for underprivileged children. 50 of the students live in a village 3 kilometers from the school, so he had an ox-powered school bus built to transport the students to and from school daily. Here you see the children happily engaging in kirtan on the way to school. Electric oxen Braj and Burda are the first oxen to generate electricity in the Vraya area. They walk in a counterclockwise fashion at their own pace, pulling a 15-foot lever which cranks several gears and outputs 1,800 revolutions per minute to power an alternator which charges 2 heavy-duty 12-volt batteries in 1.5 hours. The electricity is then sent through an inverter and converted into 220 volts and can produce 2 kilowatts of energy for 4 hours. Our plan is to use the energy for pumping water, chopping fodder and grinding grains for the cows. Can Singaporeans become Gosevaks? Can la. Sudarshana Dasa, Singapore, spent 5 months in Vrindavana attending the Bhakti Sastri course. In the mornings and evenings he regularly came to groom the residents of Care for Cows who, being pleased with his service, plotted how to engage more Singaporeans in GoSeva. Knowing that Pradeep was preparing to come to New Delhi on business, they inspired Sudarshana to request several friends to send some gifts with him. Pradeep arrived in Vrindavan elated with generous offerings from 15 aspiring Singaporean cowherd men and women. The cows then sent their representative to Singapore, where the red carpet was laid out for him. Chardrasi Karacharya sponsored puja, Amitha and her husband sponsored Nityananda. Krishna, The Podiatra Bull Vrindavan Cows. A prayer answered. Nirmal Dasa has joined the Vrindavan Food for Life staff and is managing the care for cows Gosadan in the vegetable garden. His dedication, expertise, and Vaisnava integrity promise to boost the present programs and allow us to expand into the production of insect repellents, medicines, incense, and other household goods made from the urine and dung of the cows. Ox-powered school bus Nirmal, newborn calf in Gauri.